Good evening, I'm Hafiz Marzukhi. Our top stories for tonight: China-U.S. tariff truce extended to November, and Thailand accuses Cambodia for breaking ceasefire. All this and more coming up on AWANI International. The US and China have extended their tariff truce by 90 days, now set for November 10th. This happened just hours before new duties were due to take effect today. In a Truth Social post on Monday, US President Donald Trump said he had signed an executive order to extend the truce. China's Commerce Ministry also announced a parallel pause early today, also postponing by 90 days the addition of targeted US firms to trade and investment restriction lists. Under the agreement, the US will hold its tariffs on Chinese imports at 30%, while China will keep a 10% tariff on American goods. In April, Washington had threatened tariffs as high as 145% on Chinese goods, with Beijing hitting back with 125% duties on US shipments. These were scaled down after trade talks in Geneva in May. Last week, Trump told CNBC that two sides were very close to a trade agreement and that he would meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping before year-end if an agreement is reached. Thailand accuses Cambodia of violating the recent border ceasefire after a Thai soldier is seriously injured by a landmine in Surin province. The blast happens at 9 in the morning during a routine patrol about 1 kilometer from the Ta Mon Tom temple ruins.
7 paramilitary rangers were on duty when the mine detonated, injuring one of them, who was rushed to hospital. The Thai army said the explosion proved Cambodia broke the ceasefire and violated international bans on landmines. It called the blast a deliberate attack on Thai forces in Thai territory and a direct threat to the country's sovereignty. The incident came just days after Malaysia brokered a truce between Thailand and Cambodia following 5 days of deadly clashes. Finalized on August 7 in Putrajaya, the agreement pledged to end hostilities and restore communications. As part of the deal, both countries later invited ASEAN observers to monitor disputed border areas.
We have more after the break. Stay tuned.
Di dalam setiap berita yang dibawa, konteks amat penting. Kami sentiasa membawakan yang tergempar dan terkini. Pastikan Astro AWANI menjadi pilihan anda, tidak kira di mana sahaja anda berada.
As more nations move to recognize a Palestinian state, Dr. Faziah Muhammad Hassan of the Asia-Pacific Women Coalition for Al-Quds and Palestine warns against Western support tied to conditions. She urges international bodies to act now and give Palestinians a real voice in deciding their own future.
As you know, there is a condition that is attached to that. That is to demilitarize the resistance movement. We can go back to Oslo. They promised to two-state solution, right? And what is happening? They betrayed the treaty, and they are actually taking more land in the West Bank, so to speak. So do you believe them? The Palestinian has always been side with the discussion of what's happening to the Palestinian themselves. I think it's about time United Nations Security Council must bring in the Palestinian to tell them what they need for themselves, for their country. Not other people say, hey, you have to do this, you have to demilitarize, you have to give North Gaza, you have to give security area of some 600 meters or 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers to ensure Israel is secure. Come on. I mean, I think enough lies, enough false narrative. We should tell the truth. we should say white is white and black is white. Allahu A'lam.
Washington is not urging Southeast Asian nations to choose between the United States and China on any pertinent issues. In an exclusive interview with AWANI International, U.S. Ambassador to Malaysia Edgar Kagan says such a choice is irrelevant given America's firmly established role in the region.
The U.S. is not asking countries to choose between the United States and China. We don't believe that that's a serious choice and that there's a serious issue there. I mean, because countries recognize the tremendous importance of the economic relationship with the U.S., they recognize the importance of their security partnership with the United States, they recognize the U.S. ability and willingness to engage to support peace and stability in the region, as we've just seen from President Trump's very extensive personal engagement to try and bring this ceasefire together. So I think that, we recognize there is competition, but we don't believe that there is anything that fundamentally calls into question the U.S. role in the region.
Reaffirming Washington's regional role, Kagan said the U.S. remained a vital player in Southeast Asia, determined to use every means to maintain peace and stability.
Australia's Prime Minister has accused Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu of being in denial over humanitarian situation in Gaza. This follows Anthony Albanese's announcement on Monday that Australia will soon recognise a Palestinian state.
I spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He again reiterated to me what he has said publicly as well, which is to be in denial about the consequences that are occurring for innocent people.
Albanese said on Tuesday that Netanyahu government's reluctance to listen to its allies contributed to Australia's decision. Canberra will recognise a Palestinian state at next month's United Nations General Assembly, following similar moves by the UK, France and Canada. But the recognition will be conditional on assurances from the Palestinian Authority that Hamas will have no role in any future state. Israel, under pressure to end the war, had said such recognition rewards terrorism while denying reports of a worsening humanitarian crisis and starvation in the Strip. Chinese President Xi Jinping has called for China and Brazil to set an example of unity and self-reliance in the Global South. In a phone call with Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, both leaders stressed the role of the G20 and BRICS in defending multilateralism amid US President Donald Trump's new tariff measures.
Xi reaffirmed support for Brazil's sovereignty and urged nations to resist unilateralism and protectionism. They also discussed peace efforts in the Russia-Ukraine war and agreed to boost cooperation in various sectors, as well as explore new business opportunities. Lula told Reuters last week he will reach out to BRICS leaders to coordinate a response to US tariffs. Trump announced a 50% tariff on Brazilian goods last month and recently extended a pause on a 145% tariff on Chinese goods until November.
Malaysia and regional partners are preparing to send a joint delegation to Myanmar to push for peace and deliver humanitarian aid to Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is hosting more than 1 million Rohingya in Cox's Bazar, now recognized as the world's largest refugee settlement.
The announcement came as Bangladesh interim leader, Nobel Peace Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus began a 3-day visit to Malaysia. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said securing peace in Myanmar was a top priority. He added that immediate aid was vital for refugees and earthquake victims. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan coordinated the mission with counterparts from Indonesia, the Philippines and Thailand. The delegation was scheduled to depart in the coming weeks. Anwar, who chaired ASEAN this year, noted Bangladesh's heavy burden in caring for such a vast refugee population. The United Nations report that around 150,000 Rohingya have fled to Bangladesh in the past 18 months amid escalating conflict. The Rohingya, a mostly Muslim minority, continue to face targeted violence in Myanmar's western Rakhine state.
United Nations investigators say they have evidence of systematic torture by Myanmar security forces. The Independent Investigative Mechanism for Myanmar, or IIMM, reports victims suffered beatings, electric shocks, strangulation, and other abuse, sometimes leading to death.
It found children detained as proxies for missing parents were also tortured. The report covering July 2023 to June 2024 was based on over 1,300 sources, including eyewitness accounts, forensic evidence, documents, and photographs. It named high-level commanders but withholds identities pending further investigations. Formed in 2018 to probe serious violations of international law, the IIMM said Myanmar's military-backed government has ignored more than 24 requests for information and access to the country. Myanmar has been in turmoil since the 2021 military coup sparked civil war with tens of thousands have been detained. Junta Chief Min Aung Hlaing ended a 4-year state of emergency last month, named himself acting president, and set elections for later this year.
Love it or hate it, durian is making headlines, not just for its bold flavor, but as a symbol of booming trade and regional cooperation between China and Southeast Asia. At the Durian Festival in Beijing, hosted by the ASEAN-China Center over this past weekend, diplomats and traders are celebrating these growing ties. Lee Cho-Yuan from CGTN shares this report with us.
It's a fruit that divides opinion but unites economies. Durian, Southeast Asia's king of fruits, is now a golden ticket in China-ASEAN trade, with China consuming over 90% of the global supply. At this Beijing event, countries are showcasing how this spiky delicacy is strengthening ties and transforming livelihoods. This fresh durian in my hand has just traveled from Southeast Asia to China in less than 24 hours. It's not only a logistical marvel, but also a testament to deepening regional trade. And thanks to trade agreements like RCEP, tariffs on these premium exports have been slashed to near zero levels, while cold chain trains have created a golden fruit corridor. So every sweet bite is a taste of thriving trade. ASEAN countries are capitalizing on China's durian craze, with imports hitting a record $7 billion in 2024. Thailand leads the pack.
We are proud in our products, the quality of durian from Thailand, and we cut at the right time, transport it, and be at the market in China at the right moment where the durian is the most delicious.
Regional producers are upping their game, streamlining logistics, refining flavors, and organizing growers to meet China's soaring demand.
Most of our islands are volcanic islands, and the soil, the volcanic ashes, integrated into the soil to many of the durian trees that gives us a certain flavor, which is not easy to replicate if you don't have the volcanoes.
We're improving logistics, research and development, packaging, and we're organizing our durian growers so that we can meet the demand, the growing demand of the Chinese market.
We do not have like many number of durians exported to China as compared to other regional players, but this is what we want to offer. It's very premium, and this is the king of all durians.
With the China-ASEAN Free Trade Area now in its 15th year, trade barriers are fading and partnerships deepening, from durians to digital economies.
We hope by this kind of cooperation, not only the agriculture can be improved in both in China and ASEAN, but also the people-to-people connectivities can be strengthened by this kind of cooperation.
What began as a niche import has ripened into a $1 billion bond. As durian trade grows, so does the vision of a connected Asia, where cooperation yields rewards as rich as the fruit itself. Lee Cho-Yuan, CGTN for AWANI International, Beijing.
That report wraps up AWANI International tonight. Stay tuned for reports on the rivalries, strategies, and the shifts behind the power affairs driving the new global order. Visit international.astroawani.com for more. Be sure to follow our social media accounts. I'm Hafiz Marzukhi. Thank you for watching and good night.